So if you're using a good quality window with double pane, low E gas inside them, okay, a high efficiency window, and you're putting inside the basement a 92% efficient furnace, whether it's gas or oil.
Scotchy.
Yes, like we talked about last show. Then you take all this information, and your friendly neighborhood architect or engineer will have this software in their computer where they put all these calculations into the computer. They hit calculate, and it'll tell you whether
If
you
you pass or
fail and meet the standards
I
of
love
the New York
those
State.
tests.
Right?
Why go
So-
for an A, B, C, or D when it's either just pass or fail? So you could be getting a D and you're passing, or you can be getting an A and you're passing, and those are the different degrees of insulation you can use by percentage.
That's correct.
So, and it's a composite. They call that a composite. And yeah, the Res Check is actually available online to everybody if they want to try and do it themselves and plug in information. But you really, the Res Check allows you to maybe put 40 inches of insulation up in your ceiling and 19 or 11 in your walls. And based on a component calculation, it meets the standard requirement for air infiltration. So you're losing more through your walls per se if you had an R19 or an R22, but the R11, but you're capturing a lot more at the ceiling level. So that trade-off is allowed. And also if you put in the E-glass or the high-efficiency glass, you can use less in your cavities. But why would anyone do that? The question is, why would anyone do that?
It's too inexpensive.
Sometimes there's a retrofit, Mike. You're working on 4-inch frame walls on a building. You're doing a retrofit, just gutting it, and you just want to bring it up. You're not going to fur out all the walls. Some people do, but most people don't. They prefer to put the 11-inch.
Don't they have the flat insulation to compensate, or the blowing in type
Well,
of insulation?
sometimes, well, you can only blow so much in a 4-inch cavity to get an R value. So sometimes you have that, and you also find that some of these older houses have clapboard and so forth. The people don't want to put the foam on the outside and side it with the vinyl. They would rather restore the hardboards. So you have to work with that 4-inch or 3.5-inch cavity. And
the industry hasn't come up with anything at that point to compensate.
Well, they do. They have a high density
Yeah.
again, but it doesn't get up to the R22, and it's still an R12. I think they make now.
Right, the highest right now for the 4-inch cavity, the 2x4 exterior walls, and in these older houses that we're talking about, it's actually a true 2x4.
Right, those
You've
are the
got
real
4
ones.
inches to
Those
work
are-
with.
that's right.
And we could fit an R15 high density material, and it's expensive per square foot.
Right,
But
it's a lot.
that's what we can do now. We can bring up these exterior walls because there probably was an R9, an R11 in there.
Exactly.
If anything, when we opened it up,
Right. Or
But now-
leaves, and those older ones are crumpled newspapers.
We've opened up
So-
exterior walls and have found newspapers.
Teddy
was the
Roosevelt,
insulation.
and yeah,
We've
crazy.
opened up 2x4 exterior walls and found foil, like Reynolds wrap,
foil
stapled to the.
One time we found a mannequin inside one of those walls too. There was a lot of things. When you open up walls, you'd be surprised what people use for insulation.
Anything is available.
Sears catalogs were jammed in there from
Yes.
1954. Anything. These kit-built houses in the old days came together in pieces, and they didn't have the money for the insulation, so they used leaves, or they used newspaper or cardboard, or any sort of something that would create airspace and slow down the transmission of the heat in between the cavity. So that's how they did it in the old days, Mike. What do you think? What are you saying?
I found a lot of newspapers mostly. That was the most thing I ever found.
It makes for good reading.
Otherwise,
Good
you
reading.
find mail. You find anything paperish. That's what they used to put away.
Right. And the problem is with that, that's a fire hazard. But
Yeah,
you
that
know,
is.
they
Combustible material
Sure.
in there.
Sure.
So one time I found a snake in the wall, Mike. Remember that one? That was a good one. Somebody's boa constrictor was
You
stuck
find
in the,
mice in the wall. You
stuck
find
in
everything
there.
in the wall usually.
That was Sid. Sid's snake was stuck in the wall.
Problem with the paper though, it actually falls apart, doesn't last. So anyone who does
and
have
the
that,
leaves, everything compacts.
it just compacts exactly. So you really need insulation at that level completely.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to get across to people today is take a good look at your home. See if all we need to do is come out and put an extra blanket on your home
Blanket on.
because with these rising oil prices,
What an investment.
and what's going on in
Oh.
this world now is just a nightmare.
It is.
Scotchy one of the
again.
ways
Scotchy.
and Scotchy, he was talking about fighting it last week.
He's out there fighting it today, man.
Sure he is.
He's out
He's
there. We're
putting
gonna have
in-
Scott back. He wants to come back.
He's
again.
putting in a high efficiency, smart burning, radiant heat floor system that is going to
Somewhere.
save the people money
Money.
on heating their homes. Now, let's put some more insulation in that home. Let's beef up the insulation
To
if it's new
maintain it.
construction or a new addition. And if it's an old home, let's go in there and retrofit. Let's go blow
Excellent.
6, 9,
Excellent.
12 inches in. Let's concentrate on keeping as much of that heat
Down in the building.
inside our envelope.
I got to see the return of money coming back very quick on these type of investments.
Earl gives a
Sure, and there's all kinds of, it's impossible for me to sit here and say, you spend $2,000 putting 12 inches in your attic
Right,
this
yeah.
year. You're going to recoup that in 12 months.
All right, listen.
I can't say
let's
that.
let's go out on a break, and we'll recap the show here when we come back. Give us a call. Your last chance for the phone here, the AT&T PCS. Give us a call, 651-1110. Hey, welcome back, folks. Here, short end of the show here, 5 minutes left. We have a question of the day. Laborio Durario, your friendly neighborhood architect out here with Earl Slick and Mike Ash. For the phone, Earl, what's the question again?
We're trying to establish what does R value, what does the R and the term R value mean? What is when
There we go, folks. You got 4 minutes and counting.
Come
Rich
on,
has the lines of smoking. We got 2 calls. We got 2 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes. You got
All right.
2 minutes. He's cutting us short here.
Put down your feather dusters.
That's it. So, and we got a call. Look at that. All right. Go ahead, caller. You're in.
Yes. Why is it? And you're talking about energy efficiency and great ways to make houses easier on the gas bill and whatnot. But why is it so difficult to get contractors to follow lead requirements or to build green?
Green building. That's another whole show which we can do. But yeah.
And we are going to do that.
And we are
show.
going to do that show. We at American Design and Build are green builders, and we do our best to keep the energy efficiency, the entire process down, as well as the waste on the job site.
Let me ask you, what kind of a project were you thinking of doing currently?
Did we lose him?
We lost him. Okay, we lost him.
Well, to answer, let's continue with that. Green building is also expensive.
That's
It's
right.
more expensive than your conventional
And
home.
some homeowners don't want to pay the freight on that, and the builders don't want to carry the cost if the homeowner is not going to work with them. So there
It's
are
a special type of
We're
work.
going to do the next show. We might actually, you know what, that caller, we lost that caller. Get an opportunity to call back next week. Maybe next week we'll come in and we'll do a show on some green building. But we did actually start off at the beginning talking about some green building and what that means. And for you folks who don't know, tune in next week because we're down to 45 seconds here. We're on our way out. Nobody won the AT&T Digital PCS phone here, so we'll bring it back next week. We'll have a new question about green building. We'll see if we can bring a consultant in, maybe Tom Vanderbeek, who was
He'd be perfect
here.
for that,
He
too.
might come in. He's interested in the green building. So, Laborio Durario here signing off. Mike, you want to sign off?
This
Earl?
is Mike Ash for your kitchen cabinet needs. And Earl,
Earl,
we want to thank you for coming back
Yeah,
today,
Earl, maybe, if we get a few more emails and that van doesn't show up to move you out to California, you might be back for the green show next week.
you never know.
You never know. We like to keep the folks out there and keep the emails coming. Let Earl know you care, okay? WTBQ.com. Email the station. Let us know you want Earl back for another show.
Otherwise, I'll email him for sure.
Keep Earl in orange.
All right. Take it easy, folks.
Tune in
Thanks
next
again.
week.
to the ABCs of home improvement.